What's going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here, and in today's video we're going to talk about weed and porn addiction, and specifically what I do to go long streaks or to follow through on my commitments and change these habits. All right, so I had a comment from one of you guys asking me to cover this topic, and the request was for me to share what I do to distract myself, or what I do to, stop fapping and stop smoking. And so it's not so much what do I do to distract myself that has been most effective, right? Because we're talking about long-term, sustainable follow-through, right? And in my journey, what's allowed me to actually go over a year without smoking weed, or to go over 30 days or however long without fapping, it's not just what kind of distraction techniques do I have. It's really about being aligned with the journey, with those journeys, and being and accepting my sense of ownership and responsibility in making those goals happen, right? So it's almost like what has really set the tone for me, especially in my weed-free 2019, was the energy and the sense of commitment from day one, right? Because what I've learned in my journey, especially with weed, in those times when I went 2 weeks or 2 months, I actually wasn't fully committed to long term. There was always a part of me that didn't really want to do what I needed to do, and I didn't want to be the type of person I needed to be in order to go a year, right, in the past. And so I would say what's way more important than trying to have all these different distraction strategies is to first get really clear and really authentic with yourself about how committed you really are to going long term. Because if you're like me, you've tried to quit weed, or you've tried to take a break on weed so many times, but you've been unable to follow through. And it gets to a point where, like I said in the previous video, you've cried wolf so many times that you don't even believe yourself when you say, I'm gonna quit, right? How many times have I seen on forums or in the comments, or from myself as well, where you say some kind of grandiose statement like, I am done for good, this is day one, right? And I really get that intent, and I don't want to offend anyone who has done that before or who has just done that recently. But I know for myself that there's a lot of good intent there, but really, in terms of committing to the real journey of following through long term, there's a big difference between being 99% committed and being 100% committed, right? Because when you're 100% committed, the outcome is virtually decided already before you even start, right? Because technically speaking, this is all in your hands. There is no one else forcing you to fap. There is no one else forcing you to smoke. It's all your own actions, okay? And so the person really, or the thing that you're dealing with the most when it comes to fapping and weed, is yourself, your mind, your emotions, your identity, your psychology, all those things. That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with yourself, right? And so the only real obstacle to success is to get yourself in alignment with this goal and to truly be committed. So I guess the question is, how do you know that you're truly committed, and how do you become truly committed? There's many different answers, right? And I'm not saying this is what will work for you or what will work for others, but in my experience, for me, What has never worked for me is trying to conquer changing a habit. It's never worked for me to, I'm going to dominate this habit. That's just not me. Okay? For some reason, there's just a lot of resistance when it comes to certain habits, particularly porn, particularly weed for me. And so what I've learned in terms of committing is actually needing to surrender to the process, surrender to the goal, right? And to give up, not to give up like I'm gonna give up and fail, but to let go of holding on so tightly to these habits, right? And another way to put that is, take for example, if you've ever been in a relationship, right? And if someone has ever broken up with you, or even if you've broken up with someone else, right? It's hard to let go of someone that you love. It's hard to let go of someone you've been in a relationship with. And there just comes a time where you need to let them go so that you can free yourself up to be happy again. Right? And so a big part of my journey with fapping and weed is that I needed to let go of the comfort. I needed to let go of the familiarity. I need to let go of failing, right? Because after trying to quit 100 times or trying to moderate 100 times and failing every time, I needed to let go of effing myself over, right? Because that's virtually what's happening is when we say we're going to go 30 days and then on day 17, you decide to smoke weed, you effed yourself over, right? And so, last example. So let's say you make a commitment, right? You say, I'm not gonna smoke weed for 30 days. There are many different possibilities that can happen after you make that commitment. We'll go with 3 of many possibilities for now, right? You could give in, you could do well but fall short, or you could go all the way, right? You could fail, you could do really well but still fall short, and you could go all the way, okay? Which one do you want to go with? Which one? And be clear, okay? Be clear. Because don't commit unless you know in your heart of hearts that you are committing to full success, or else you're committing to failure, and that's just the bare truth. All right? And this is not meant to be like, oh, you're bad because you're gonna fail. No, it's more like, this realization actually helped me when it comes to no fap, right? Because I learned this going through my weed journey, is that, in times when, so for example, my commitment was 90 days no fap, right? And then one time I committed to 30 days no fap. I went 29 days, y'all. I went 29 days and then I decided to fap on the 29th day. And when that happened, I didn't beat myself up. I knew exactly what I was doing. And although, yeah, I fucking failed, I also owned up to my decision that I chose to fall short. Instead of choosing to go all the way, I chose to fall short. And that's in some ways pathetic. But instead of pretending like I wasn't the one that fapped on day 29, I owned up to it. Yeah, that was me. That was me that did that. Okay? So it is you who keeps failing. It is you who will succeed. I get it. Navigating the world of addiction is really challenging. Okay, but you can only play victim for so long. So regardless of what choice you make, if you're going to choose to fall short, own it. If you're going to choose to give up on a goal, own it. And likewise, if you're going to choose to succeed, own it. This is Gabriel Santos. I hope this video finds you well. Leave a comment down below. Thumbs up this video if it served you in some way. And until the next video, peace.